My name is Jeremiah. I'm 39 and I'm a global events manager.
Ooh, okay. So is this just like, hey, we're having a party in, Brazil to help throw the event?
It's just working with and managing different personalities and expectations and communicating with people so differently, and really kind of giving what they need, so that you're able to build those relationships and satisfy people.
Interesting.
So many different facets moving around.
Yeah.
And so many curveballs as like an events manager that you just have to go with the flow and pivot and come up with solutions for the unexpected.
Yeah, it's all about this idea of like, well, we have a final product that we need to get to.
That's right.
So like, I have to put in all the little micro decisions to make sure we end up staying on the path to that final point.
You got it.
Yeah. So then, sounds a lot like doing, a micro decision filled game like Survivor with the final outcome of $1 million. So let's talk about what brought you to the main event in a manner of speaking. Talk to me about your history with Survivor and what had you making the decision to go from fan to player?
Yeah, I've been a fan since I was 14 years old.
Wow.
I started watching season 2 with my dad. My dad and I, we watched it together. We didn't do a lot of things together growing up, but Survivor was like, I remember when Survivor was on Thursday nights.
Yeah.
And like on CBS, and I remember when it was like NBC against Friends, and it was like a big rival. And I worked at Red Lobster as like a dishwasher, and so whenever I had to work on Thursday nights, I would always like leave the last 10 minutes so I can actually watch Tribal. And so I've been a super fan since I was 14.
Wow.
Coming from Canada too, I think maybe like it was about 10 years ago. That's when Erica, so maybe like 5 years ago, was when they started to allow Canadians on the show. So this is totally outside of my comfort zone.
Okay.
I've been to 44 countries, 7 continents. I just got back from Antarctica a few months ago.
You checked the final one off the list.
So I checked the final one off. I went swimming in Antarctica.
And lived to tell the tale.
And, it was only 7 seconds, but I went swimming in Antarctica.
7 more seconds than a lot of people.
Yeah. So I've just been a super fan since I was 14.
Interesting. And so what made you decide that this would be the game? Despite the fact that you are incredibly well-traveled, this is a very different trip that you're taking.
Yeah, like I'm used to flying business class, staying in 5-star hotels, like having a credit card and just like having comfort. I think a lot of people would never expect me to actually be on Survivor. Like my friends and family, when I told my parents that I was applying to be on Survivor, they laughed and they thought it was the funniest thing. And they even like when my dad knew I was going through the application process. My mom doesn't know that I'm here. She thinks I'm climbing base camp. I told everyone that I was climbing base camp, like my work, my friends, and family. And so...
Which is a good excuse for you. You're like, yeah, here's another country that I'm going to go visit.
Yeah. So I thought it was believable. I got questions from people like, did you get your visa? I'm like, yeah. They're like, somebody, like one of my really good friends, he really wanted to come with me. And I'm like, no, you can't come with me. And he's just like, but actually, April and May are the best times to go and climb Everest. I'm like, thanks for telling me that. Like, I had no idea. But anyways, it's totally unexpected, out of my character. I love adventure. I love thrill. I love testing myself and seeing how I can get out of sticky situations.
There are plenty of people that give their own little excuses for getting out of work so people don't know. Climbing Mount Everest might be the most extreme version of that I've ever heard in my life.
Nobody questioned it. Nobody questioned it. I've been planning to see that I wanted to climb Everest, like, as I've been going through, like, the whole application process.
Yeah.
So, like, back in, like, January, when I got back from Antarctica, that's when I started telling everyone that my goal was to do base camp. Wow. So.
Well, let's look upon a different mountain, perhaps the Mount Rushmore of Survivor. Let's look back on some previous players here.
Yeah.
Give me one winner and one non-winner who you identify with the most, personally or strategically.
Yeah, so I loved Yam Yam's game. Mm-hmm. I loved that he was like his true, authentic self. He didn't adjust to cater to anybody. He just brought who he was. It totally was unexpected for him to play Survivor. And non-winner would be Ty. Ty, like, I don't know, I loved his energy. I loved, like, who he was as a person. Again, that's somebody who didn't adjust to fit a certain stereotype. And he used his charm and his uniqueness to get myself so far in the game, both seasons.
Yeah. What would you say is one life experience that has prepared you the most? As much as you say this is out of your comfort zone, do you feel like either emotionally, physically, there is something you can pull from in, your previous years up to this point?
Yeah, I feel like I've been an underdog my entire life.
Interesting.
And so I feel like everyone always sees like this like fluffy like gay kid. I'm originally from Windsor, Ontario. It's a very blue collar city with GM, Chrysler, Ford.
Oh, wow.
And so like growing up, I just had myself to depend on, and I never allowed, my differences to like hold me back. I always used like any negative energy to like my advantage, and that would like fuel me to succeed.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because I know you wrote in your bio here that, you clearly work in global events, but you worked in fashion and beauty for 12 years.
Yeah.
So what prompted the change?
Yeah, so I worked at MAC Cosmetics in head office for 12 years. And like it was a great job. I did New York Fashion Week for 10 years.
Wow.
And I worked like on the PR and event side. But after like 12 years, I felt as though like I've reached sort of my like I was like ready for a change.
Yeah.
And now I'm working in financial services. I love it. And of course, it's so completely different from fashion to finance. Like I'm working with like people who have their MBAs, their doctorals.
Yeah, from turning looks to looking at books.
That's right. But the change has been amazing, and I've never questioned my ability at my work ethic, which is why I'm able to succeed, I feel.
Yeah, so speaking of that work ethic, once you finally got the call to come out here after your parents stopped laughing, what was sort of your own prep process to get ready for this?
Yes. And so my whole thing was, I think I was a little bit distracted because I didn't want anybody to know, and I was talking a lot about base camp. I also like listened to Jeff's like podcast, and I stopped working out. I usually work out 6 days a week for an hour. I lost all my muscle mass, and I started like the last month. I've just been eating like pizza, donuts, and chips because I gained 10 pounds.
Wow.
Because I was so worried about like coming out here and being starving, and like my body wouldn't have anything to feed off of. So that's been like my really big prep. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to practice fire because I live in Toronto, so there's snow everywhere. Like I tried in my kitchen, it wasn't a good idea.
Yeah.
And so I've been practicing with puzzles, and I've just like, I think that's how I've been preparing, and mentally preparing too.
Yeah. What does that mean for you? Just sort of like putting yourself in a certain mindset, mindfulness?
Yeah, like every single time I went to bed, in my bed, I thought to myself, like, this is the last time I'm gonna sleep in a bed for like 26 days. Like, enjoy every single like luxury that I have in my life, because that's gonna be stripped away from me.
What would you say is your biggest superpower and your biggest piece of kryptonite that you're bringing into this game?
What's kryptonite?
It's your biggest weakness, I should say.
Yeah, biggest weakness is that I overanalyze everything.
Okay.
And I think that will be my biggest weakness, and I can just like spin inside of my head, and if I voice what I'm feeling, then I will reveal a lot. So I just need to keep within myself and within my thoughts. Actually, my dad told me not to talk to anybody and talk to a tree as if it was him, because he didn't want me to reveal anything to anybody.
So he wanted you to find a tree in the jungle and say, "This is me." Talk to the tree.
Talk to the tree. Don't tell anyone your secrets. And because one of my superpowers is that I have really good intuition, and I have a really good gut. That's usually really right. But because my kryptonite is because I overanalyze everything, I need to share my thoughts with somebody and bounce off ideas to like give myself reassurance. And so that's why he said, talk to a tree.
I mean, it makes sense. You want sort of like in real life, you have that neutral party to refer to, right? To be like either to advise you knowing they have your best interests at heart.
For sure.
Not exactly the case out here.
It's true, and that's why trees are very neutral.
Exactly. They're the most neutral party out here. What would you say is going to be the perception of you out here? How do you think people are going to look at you?
Yeah, so growing up, my idol was Elle Woods from Legally Blonde.
Ooh.
I loved how everyone thought that she was like this ditzy blonde.
Yeah.
She used like a breakup to like go to law school. Her ex-boyfriend like kind of belittled her. She like graduated the top of her class and she became a lawyer.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I can relate to that on so many levels.
Yeah. You'll win Survivor and they'll congratulate you. You said like what? It's hard?
Yeah, it's so true. I'm walking around with like a pink Discman. I have like a pink rain jacket, so there's a little bit of Elle Woods.
Oh, that's
in me.
interesting. So are you trying to like steer into the curve then of that perception?
Of course, yeah. So I think people will think that I'm like bubbly and ditzy and just see me as like kind of a social person, but not with a lot of substance. What they won't know is that there's a lot of method to my badness.
Well, let's talk about some of these unsuspecting victims, the ones you will avoid in lieu of talking to the trees here. So, because I imagine as you're sitting here, you're assessing a lot of the people around you. So let's start on the positive side of things. And you could give me initials, you could describe them to me. Who are some people that you're picking up good vibe from that it's like, best case scenario, I want to hit the beach on you with day one. This is a ride or die.
Yeah, so my ride or die, her name starts with S. She has blue fingernail polish. She's shorter, brown hair, really beautiful eyes, and she is just one of those people that like I can tell that she is like an independent, strong, fierce female, and like I want to work with that. And I feel like she's gonna voice everything how she feels, and she's here to play. And so that sort of is my ride or die. There's another girl. She's a black girl with like she's beautiful. She has a great smile. She has like long braids, and like her energy is like so amazing. Just looking at her, like she has a twinkle in her eye, so she just makes me laugh, and I love positive people.
What about on the other side of things? Let's go from positive to negative.
Yeah, you know what? There are the three bros that are like, winking at each other and smiling at each other.
Interesting.
And it's just sort of like, guys, like you're not going to be together. Like, they're not going to put three like of the guys. Like you're just not playing your cards properly.
Who are the three bros?
I don't know their initials.
Okay.
I think one is like JT, and I don't know the other ones.
Okay. So is that something you're looking to work with though? Find yourself a meat shield if one of these bros winds up on your tribe?
My dad loves like the brawn. My dad loves like the really like strong, aggressive player. That's how he would play Survivor if he could. I love sort of like the female underdog, and I feel like I'd want to get them out. My dad wouldn't want to get them out, but...
Well, you talk about that female underdog. What do you seek in an alliance partner? Is it certain qualities? Is it sort of like that role that you typically like to see on the show?
Yeah, I love people who just make me laugh and like who I can be myself with. Someone who's going to be able to take me outside of the game and just be real with me, and then can snap in and out of the game, and just somebody like who I can trust. Even though like this is a game full of deception, which is
you gotta
so
trust
crazy.
somebody.
You need to trust somebody.
Yeah. So besides containing a nice discussion partner, the trees might contain idols. They might contain advantages. So what's your approach to the DNA of the new era? Idols, advantages, journeys, even.
Yeah. So I want to go on a journey because I feel like the past two journeys have been like really awful for the players, and so I feel like we're due for a really good journey.
Interesting. You're waiting for like the karmic balance to shift
right.
back.
That's right. Everyone's expecting, because like the dice, like that's just the luck of the draw. Like that has no skill to it, right? And so I think everyone's kind of scared to like go on a journey, but I'm all for it. In terms of like idols and advantages, I don't know if I have if I get an idol or an advantage, that I don't know if that's gonna mess up my game, because I'll be so fixated on like, I hope nobody finds out that I have an idol. When do I play it? Opposed to actually playing the game.
That's interesting. It's sort of like this additive element, right? Where like it could be, for some people, it could be easily incorporated into their game. Now that I have an idol, I can do this. I can very much understand the mindset if it's like, I had this very specific mindset going, and now it's like, this is going to add a lot of complications, and especially, I imagine, a lot of second guessing
for yourself.
Sure. Because while it's safety, at the same time, you want to play it correctly.
That's right. Yeah. But I love a good blindside. It's so hard. You say you're not going to tell somebody that you have an idol, but out here, like, you need to tell people. That gives you kind of currency. So I would like to hope that I wouldn't tell anybody, but like, who knows? You
say you love a good blindside. Do you have a favorite moment in Survivor history?
I think it was a long time ago when, like, the Girls Alliance, it was like Suri, Parvati, Amanda, and they convinced, what was his name? Eric to give them his immunity idol. Yeah. And then they voted him out. Yeah. Which was like so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's wild next level move. And it's Survivor in a nutshell, because it's like being able to convince somebody to do something that it's in their best interest, while having in mind, we're just going to pull the rug out from under you as soon as you get into the door. Wild.
So wild.
Well, let's talk a bit more about Survivor history here. I'm going to give you an opportunity to step into Jeff's shoes. So you can pick a previous twist or advantage from a new era season, even an old era season, or even create your own twist. But you get to put one thing into season 49 that you want to play with. What would that be?
Redemption Island.
Redemption Island. Okay. Is it just as sort of like a get out of jail free card?
It's true. Everyone thinks that they're saying goodbye to you, and then you just pop out of the blue, and you're competing into a challenge to go back into the game.
Yeah, but I mean, the other side of that is that you could be the very person voting someone out and be like, oh shit, they're coming back.
They're coming back. Love Redemption Island.
Interesting. What would you say in general is your hottest Survivor take, your most controversial opinion? Could be about the show itself, or a season, or a player.
I love season 2. That's what brought me into Survivor, and season 2 has been full of controversial characters. So we'll leave it at that. But the beef jerky with Jerry is so classic. That is so iconic.
Do you think he had the beef jerky?
Yeah, he had the beef jerky. Do you think he had the beef jerky?
Yeah, I mean, listen, there are some stories about that he had a huge amount of beef jerky at the airport that got confiscated, that he sewed stuff into his pants. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
when it comes to the new era, we've seen a couple times this idea of the disaster tribe, right? This tribe that keeps going back to tribal council over and over again. I'm curious, not to put yourself into that worst case scenario mindset, but do you anticipate if you found yourself in that scenario, it would change the way you played at all?
I think going into Survivor, that is my expectations, to be on that losing tribe, to constantly going to tribal.
Interesting.
That's how I've mentally prepared myself.
So then what does that mean? Are you immediately locking in on a strength versus loyalty question? Are you just saying, if we're a sinking ship, then let's throw out the most appealing people of the lifeboat?
Yeah, I think it's just about who I can trust. I don't care about strength. I would be willing to vote out the strongest person if we're the first tribe to go to tribal council, because I want to work with a team of people who I can trust.
Yeah. So going from the beginning of the game to the end, something that's so interesting about a jury vote is that every jury member has unlimited criteria they can use, right? It could be relationships, likability, resume, story, etc. If I were to ask you right now, if you were on the jury voting for a winner, what would be sort of your core value? If the sentence was, if I'm on the jury, I'm voting for blank, what is that blank?
Loyalty.
Loyalty, interesting. To you specifically, or just in general?
Just in general. I love seeing a person staying loyal to somebody to the very end. And so loyalty to me is the most important.
And very tough to do, especially in that end game, right? Where it's so much about assessing who you want to sit next to. So it makes sense that you want to incorporate, priding those human relationships and that genuine sense of trust at a time where distrust is at an all-time high.
It's true. The relationship between Yam Yam and Carolyn is amazing.
Yeah.
And Carson. Carson was part of that too. But that relationship was incredible, those three.
Well, last thing I want to ask, I'll throw another weird scenario out to you. It's the loved one's visit.
Yeah.
But you can only bring out a celebrity or a fictional character as your loved one. Who would you pick and why?
Yeah, it'd be between Britney Spears or Elle Woods. Britney Spears wouldn't give me anything.
She'd give you more.
She's so toxic. So it would probably be Elle Woods.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, and she could, first off, it'd be incredible to have her in Louis Vuitton heels trying to walk through that sand. But she could get your head in the game and be they're underestimating you right now. That's their folly.
For sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. Britney would be great though too. I think Britney would be, it'd be a wild card.
A wild card, yes. Yeah.
Well, how are you feeling right now? I guess last thing I want to ask is what's sort of your emotional cocktail, because this is something that you've been watching for 20-something years. This is something you've been applying for a little while now. Now that we're sort of on the crux, perhaps, of it all beginning, what's the feeling you have at this moment?
It hasn't hit me yet. I think it will hit me when we're on the mat. And right now, I'm sort of in a twilight zone where I'm preparing myself to be on Survivor, but I'm not there yet. And I will believe it when I'm on the mat, ready to go.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.